Welcome to the 5-Minute Nerd episode 100, where we break down everything nerd culture into 5-minute segments. Since today is our 5th bicentennial episode, that means we cover dragons. But being the 100th episode, we needed to ensure we brought you the biggest and meanest of all dragons, Glaurung. Follow along as we dive into the fiery and terrifying world of Glaurung, the first dragon in Tolkien's mythology, and one of the most fearsome creatures in Middle-earth's history. Known as the father of dragons, Glaurung left a legacy of destruction and tragedy that would ripple across the ages. Let's unravel the tale of this monstrous being and his pivotal role in Tolkien's legendarium. Glaurung was created by Morgoth, the first Dark Lord and the ultimate villain of the Silmarillion. Morgoth, ever the craftsman of terror, sought to dominate Middle-earth by unleashing horrors upon the world. And what better horror than a fire-breathing dragon? Glaurung was the prototype, the first of his kind, a dragon without wings but with an intellect and malice to rival any villain. He made his first appearance during the First Age in the Dagor Bragolach, or the Battle of Sudden Flame. At this point, Glaurung was still young by dragon standards, and his attack, though devastating, wasn't enough to shift the tide of the war. However, he retreated under orders from Morgoth only to reappear later as an even greater threat. By the time of his next appearance, Glaurung was fully grown, and fully terrifying. Let's talk about his powers. Glaurung wasn't just a brute with scales and fire. He had a sinister intellect and the ability to manipulate the minds of others. Through his gaze and words, he could cast spells of confusion, despair, and even complete mental domination. This made him not just a physical menace but a psychological one as well. Glaurung's most infamous acts are tied to the tragic tale of Túrin Turambar, one of Tolkien's most complex and tormented heroes. Túrin's story, detailed in The Children of Húrin, is a saga of heroism, fate, and devastating loss, with Glaurung playing a pivotal role in shaping its darkest moments. When Túrin encountered Glaurung, he faced not only a dragon but a master manipulator. Glaurung used his powers to deceive and ensnare Túrin, convincing him that his mother and sister were suffering in faraway lands. This lie sent Túrin on a path of despair and misdirection, separating him from his loved ones and sealing their tragic fates. But Glaurung's cruelty didn't end there. He ensnared Túrin's sister Ninor in a spell of amnesia, leaving her wandering and vulnerable. The dark chain of events orchestrated by Glaurung led to one of the most heart-wrenching conclusions in Tolkien's work, a tale of love, loss, and ultimate tragedy that cemented Glaurung's reputation as one of Middle-earth's most sinister figures. Despite his cunning and power, Glaurung wasn't invincible. Túrin, driven by both rage and a sense of destiny, confronted the dragon in a climactic battle. Armed with the black sword Gurthang, Túrin delivered the fatal blow, piercing Glaurung's belly and ending his reign of terror. But even in death, Glaurung had one last act of malice. With his dying breath, he revealed the truth to Túrin about Ninor, shattering Túrin's spirit and leading to his ultimate demise. Glaurung's death marked the end of an era but left an indelible mark on Middle-earth's history. As the first dragon, he set the standard for the terror and devastation that his winged successors like Smaug would later bring. However, Glaurung's story is unique in its depth, combining brute strength with psychological manipulation to create a villain as complex as any in Tolkien's lore. Why does Glaurung matter in the broader scope of Tolkien's mythology? He represents Morgoth's ability to corrupt and create, twisting the natural order to produce instruments of chaos. Glaurung's role in Túrin's story also underscores one of Tolkien's recurring themes, the inevitability of fate and the tragic consequences of hubris and misunderstanding. Glaurung isn't just a monster, he's a mirror reflecting the darker sides of ambition, pride, and despair. Through him, Tolkien explores the complexity of evil and the far-reaching impact of malevolent intent. And that, my friends, is the story of Glaurung, the father of dragons and one of Middle-earth's most unforgettable villains. Until next time, when we'll dive into another nerd culture favorite, keep nerding out. If there are parts of the nerd universe that you'd like for us to cover here at 5 Minute Nerd, leave us a note in the comments. To help support the channel, don't forget to visit the 5-Minute Nerd merch store and grab your Fear the Legacy of the First Dragon swag today. To keep getting nerd culture broken down in 5 minutes, don't forget to like and subscribe.